Hey everybody, it's Tony D with another hot take. But before we get started, smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Please check me out on Bitchute and Rumble today because I have a Bitchute and Rumble exclusive. I had no choice but to put them up. You have to go there. I'm sorry. I'll put the link in the descriptions. It may not be there right away, but definitely you should be subscribed to me on Bitchute and Rumble by now. And Little Jones on the couch. Little Jones just being a pill. I had to shut the door because I had a phone meeting, a FaceTime meeting. Actually got script work again. Hooray. I'm actually writing comics again. Hooray. And I'm actually not working at the job I had. Hooray. Long story short, that ended. Again, I'm not going to talk about the people I worked for. I mean, it was a perfectly fine job. I enjoyed it for a while. Now it's over. And now we're back to full-time freelancing. Couldn't be happier. Couldn't be happier. So, what else? Well, you want to support me now that I'm poor again. Buy a book. Links in the description. The Pineys, book 6. The Highwayman Piney is out. I'm telling you, I'm so into that book. Can't wait to get copies of it. I won't have a copy this Saturday, April 10th, at the Ocean City Collectible Show from 10 to 4 on the Music Pier, but soon I will have them. You can have them, just order them. Anyhow, Jen Psaki claims Joe Biden wanted to support baseball players, not lead boycott of Georgia. Bull. Bull. Now that it's blown up in his face, now this is the spin. Oh, he didn't mean to say that. I mean, how much more of this do we have to tolerate from these people and their spin? It's bad enough they lie right to your face, and then they turn around and lie even more and say, well, that's not what we meant. You completely misinterpreted that. And the media just sucks it up. F you, media. People are watching me for news. How bad have you lowered the bar if they have to watch me for news? Not a journalist, by the way. Arkansas Governor Hutchinson vetoes anti-transgender health care bill. Hutchinson suggested the bill was well-intended but called it a vast government overreach. And this is a real danger. Sorry. This is a danger. Look, my friend of over 20 years is trans. I'm not an anti-trans person. But you have to acknowledge that a couple of common sense limits, okay? Trans women in women's sports, bad idea if you just open it up. It just means that trans women are going to dominate all women's sports. That's not fair. We don't want that. The whole point of having women's sports was so women could have their own sports. If trans women take it over, it's trans women's sports. Can we not just have a separate league for them? Why not? What would be wrong with that? You could have a separate league for women, trans women. You can have a league for both. You have a league, they meet. What's the problem? You have a league for everything. You have a combined league and separate leagues. You have both, the best of both worlds. That's what I say. That's not what this is about. This is about whether or not young kids could get, say, puberty blockers or operations. Look, we tell children not to do a lot of things because they're children, okay? A child deciding, I don't want to be a boy or a girl anymore, they don't get to decide that. When they're 18, I mean, I still say that's kind of young to make a life-altering decision, but by the time you're 18, at least you have a little mileage on you. At least by then, you're a legal adult. Okay, there's nothing the parents can do. There's nothing anybody can do. You want to have the operation or whatever, fine. But children? No. Absolutely not. Children should not be able to make that decision. What is the rush? What is the rush? Okay? Are we desperately short of trans people? We're not. There's plenty of trans people around. They're not going to die without the surgery. This isn't life-saving surgery or life-saving drugs. And in fact, some of the drugs are not fully tested. So I say, wait. What's the big deal? Wait. Let children grow up, and teenagers don't make great decisions. They just don't. I think if you've been a teenager, you've made some pretty stupid decisions in your life. Most of them tied to the teen years. I think I could tie most of my stupid decisions to that era. So, can we just get on the same page and be realistic for once and stop indulging these left-wing maniacs who think, oh, we're all blank slates, and by the time you can speak, you should be able to choose your sex. No. All right, getting into some headlines. Matt Gaetz. Here's two headlines right in a row on Gap. Embattled Matt Gaetz stands up to false charge of sexual impropriety, vows to fight like hell against smear campaign, and then right after it, former Matt Gaetz staffer press conference sheds new light on allegations of Florida congressman. It's like, they're just trying to, it seems like they're just trying to tear down Matt Gaetz. I say wait. The whole thing is a big, giant media mess. I say wait on the whole thing until some data comes out. Doesn't seem to be a lot of data here yet. Okay, I'm waiting for the big witness, to come forth and say, these terrible things happened, or the big witness who come forth and said, yes, he was being extorted. So let's just all calm down. There's no real proof here as of yet. There's no pictures and video. I bet if it was Hunter Biden, this would all just go away. Intel creates anti-toxicity voice chat software to censor your voice in real time. Oh boy. Can't wait to have that. Can't wait to be sitting here trying to talk about stuff and having the computer go, oh, you really shouldn't say that. F you, computer. You're my computer. Don't tell me what to say. It's a little scary that they got this kind of software on Grammarly too, I heard. Because Grammarly's pretty handy, but I don't want it making my books go all woke. So just chill yourself. Chill yourself, computer people. Stop censoring people. Why are you developing this software? Yeah, you're going to make some money, and then you're going to be censored, you idiots. Oh, well, I made the software, but it's not going to censor me. Yeah, it's the whole point. Once you build this, there's some things you shouldn't have built. Right? I mean, the guy who built the atom bomb, didn't he regret it? Didn't he have some regrets about that? The guy who built dynamite, he certainly regretted it. The guy who invented dynamite, Alfred Nobel. Yeah, maybe just slow down with this stuff. Teacher says the left has turned public schools into indoctrination centers. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty true. Vaccine skepticism runs deep among white evangelicals in the U.S. I would say it runs deep with evangelicals. I don't, a lot of them are white, but I don't see what that has to do with anything. The vaccine skepticism is the fault, mostly, I think, of the Democrats politicizing the whole thing. I don't know why I kind of know why they did, but again, if you people were consistent and kept your promises, you wouldn't have this credibility gap. There's still that footage of Nancy Pelosi standing in Chinatown all of a sudden back in February of 2020 saying, oh, we're going out to Chinatown, everybody. Everybody should come down. Yeah, because she positioned herself against the Republicans, in this case Trump, when she heard about the disease. Just so if the disease or the virus had gone away and wasn't a big deal, she could stand up and say, ha, see, it wasn't any big deal. It was just his xenophobia. Then she had to change gears, right? And she changed gears, and now suddenly she couldn't be more in favor of masks and lockdowns and, all vaccine passports and all this stuff. That's the problem. That headline might as well say, people don't trust Democrats, because they don't anymore. Whatever credibility you had built up with Obama, and at least Obama was slick enough to build up some credibility, you've destroyed that utterly. No one, I know, trusts the Democrats. Not even the Democrats trust the Democrats anymore. They only reluctantly vote for you because you've convinced them the Republicans are trying to kill them. And most of them are starting to fall by the wayside. Now that Trump's gone, they could care less about your politics, which is why you have no support, even within your own party. It's If there's any justice in the world, you're going to get wiped out in the 2022 election, and the whole thing's going to flip over. You think you created a Trump. Wait till you see Trump 2 or DeSantis. Yeah. They're gonna settle your hash, as they say. When the Republicans get back in, oh, it's gonna be time. It's gonna be time to settle some scores, and I'll be there cheering them on for the most part. All hell will break loose if Chauvin not convicted. Buildings will be on fire, says model and BLM activist. Well, that's pleasant to hear, isn't it? We're going to kill you. You shouldn't say stuff like this. This is a threat. Why are you threatening people? Is this part of the woke agenda of tolerance and love? No. This is part of you against me. That's what she's saying, essentially. And guess what? The buildings will burn no matter what happens. I see no scenario in which BLM activist model or anyone else on the woke side say, oh, that seemed like a fair ruling. Because anyone who's watched the Lotus Eaters are doing a great coverage of the trial, by the way. The podcast is free. You should watch it. Thursday, Friday, and today, great coverage. And although they had some technical problems today, it was very funny. Yeah, I mean, it's so painfully obvious. The prosecution never should have brought this case. They never should have brought the case. If they had not brought the case, this would have been over. People would have been pissed off, but they would have been pissed off back in the summer when they were burning buildings anyway. Now you've set it up so it'll happen again. Only this time it's going to happen under Biden. So now what are we going to say? Is Biden going to send in the feds to flip over the ruling? He's going to end up sending in the army to put down this thing? Because he's not going to have any choice. He's going to put out a woke statement saying, oh, this is a travesty of justice. The guy was trained to kneel on suspects, to keep them calm. He took an overdose of fentanyl, George Floyd, apparently. There's so many things that have gone wrong for the prosecution. It's so obvious what has happened here. And this is a reason why the BLM activists and most of the people on the woke side, they don't think with logic and reason. They could have picked any number of cases where people were killed terribly. But see, they're so inconsistent and they're so vulnerable because of their inconsistency, because they lie all the time. They're either easily duped or they just pursue the agenda. That's it. Either they're useful idiots or they're pulling the strings. And they made their move. They decided George Floyd was the guy that they were going to stand upon. And the media did it to you. You should be furious at the media because the media lied to you. They lied to me too. I was fooled. I saw that initial video. I went, oh, God, no. That looks horrible. Dave Chappelle, smart guy. He was fooled too. But the autopsy doesn't lie. The science doesn't lie. The video doesn't lie. George Floyd was effed up out of his mind. And the cops came and gave him pretty much every opportunity to calm down and be nice. And they didn't try to hurt him. They tried to help him. And everybody around them, because they were so hyped up for everything that had happened, they were furious at the cops. And if anything, they hindered them. They hindered their process to help George Floyd. And they didn't kill him. They just didn't kill him. There's been tons of cases where the cops have killed people totally illegal. You woke idiots don't care. Because if they're the wrong skin color, oh, well, we don't want to talk about that. And the media doesn't tell you. You all stay home and I guess be a model or play video games or whatever the hell you do. But here's the really horrible headline. There's two right here. From National File poll, over 40% of Americans are against vaccine passports, which sounds like good news until you look at the WND headline that says stunning number of voters favor vaccine passports. Apparently, it is a majority. This couldn't be a worse thing. Don't support vaccine passports. It's going to be a nightmare if they pass this. They won't let you go anywhere. They will track you. It won't stop at beer virus. It won't stop at viruses. It won't stop at all your medical information. It won't stop until every bit of your data is on your phone and everybody has access to it and decides whether you get access to a store or a bar or a hotel or an apartment or whatever. They're trying to push a social credit store like there is in China. It's a Black Mirror episode. It shouldn't be reality. Okay? So imagine you said something stupid on Facebook. Maybe you intended to. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you said it 15 years ago. Well, guess what? The social credit score will smack you down. And you won't be able to get that job. You won't be able to get that apartment. You won't be able to go to certain places. That's what the social credit score is. Don't let it happen. This is the first step. No to vaccine passports. Couldn't. Write your congressman. For God's sake, write your congressman and senator right now, please. Spirit Airlines, can't stand Spirit Airlines, by the way, delays flight, forces passengers off plane, and calls police because of unmasked toddler. Another reason not to fly Spirit, in my view. I hate Spirit Airlines. I think they're expensive, and I don't like them. That's just my personal preference. I mean, I hate flying anyway, but Spirit, no, thank you very much. Radical leftist group steals Confederate statue from Alabama cemetery, demands ransom or statue will be destroyed. These woke idiots should go to jail. I mean, they stole something. That's what you do. You put people in jail who steal things, and they're even dumber for trying to who's going to pay this ransom? Where's the Confederacy to pay you, morons? No one cares. Okay? The government's not going to pay you. They don't pay ransoms out to statue stealers, you morons. From Politico, false hopes. Small businesses rescue faces crunch just days after Congress extended it. Yeah, well, just open the damn country, Biden. Just announce it. I guess they're saving this for when Kamala gets in. I don't know. This headline, kind of an outrage. Teen girls who murdered Uber Eats driver in D.C. get incredible plea deal, won't go to prison. Now, these kids were 13 and 15. I've seen the video. And let me tell you something. It's horrific. Okay? He's trying... I don't know how these girls get in his car. But they get into his car, and then they won't get out, and he's holding on to the car, and they take off with him, either caught on the car or holding on to the car. Basically, the car crashes, and I guess it landed on him and killed him. Fortunately, well, nothing really fortunate about this. His family is making a ton of money. Like, I think someone set up a GoFundMe page or something, but the fact that the teen girls are not going to go to prison... I mean, they murdered a guy. They murdered a guy for his car. They got into his car. Look, I'm not an advocate for sending children to prison, but there's a limit. I mean, when you see the video, you see the total lack of compassion. Look, and you could send these girls to juvie. That ain't gonna straighten them out. I don't think. These girls, in my view, they're lost already. They should go to prison. They are lost. What kind of person? I mean, when I was a teenager, stealing a car? My parents got mad at me if I, didn't do my homework. I mean, what kind of parents do these kids have? Is a real question too. That they think they could even get into a person's car. that they got into it, started it up, and stole it or attempted to. It's just horrific. When you see something like that, I suddenly become an old person. Kids today. Here's a video I was looking at earlier. Come on, man. Biden offers stunning response to media when asked if he's worried about corporations moving overseas to avoid his promised tax increases. Yeah, no, he's not worried because he doesn't care. He's trying to do Trump, like talking to the reporters, and it's terrible. He's wearing the mask, which keeps sliding on his face. He keeps touching it. He's not wearing two masks anymore, I noticed. You can barely hear him. This guy has no business being president of the United States. You really effed it up, Democrats. Anybody else? Pete Buttigieg would have been fine. Get Biden out of there. The sooner you get him out of there, the better. He's an absolute disgrace. He looks old. He looks frail. He doesn't sound like he knows what he's talking about. He just sounds like he's lying again and again and again. Poll finds that almost half of Americans want vaccine passports. Oh, okay. So it's not quite 50%. Well, that's from InfoWars. So, talked about Clarence Thomas. Tim Pool has a good video on it. 7 shot dead on Easter in Chicago. 27 others wounded in weekend violence. Rachel Levine, remember her, a transgender woman who's on the Biden health team. Transgender drug surgeries for minors, health equity issue. No, again, it's not. It's an adult decision that should be made by an adult human being. It shouldn't be made by children. They're not allowed to drink. They're not allowed to drive. They're not allowed to go to a strip club. There's all kinds of things children aren't allowed to do. They have to go to school. There's all sorts of things children have to do. One of the things they don't have to do is make a decision on major life-changing surgery that could scar them for the rest of their lives and that they could regret. When they're 18, then they can do that. What is the rush? I don't see any argument. Give me an argument, anybody who's trans or for this, give me an argument why the surgery or these drugs have to happen before 18. Why? Give me one sane reason. I can't see any. The city council are raging idiots. Ignore actual facts on crime and policing in favor of radical leftist fantasy. Portland police go off on exit interviews. Yeah, I think we all knew this. Speaking of news we all knew. The Portland city council, I mean, you guys should just all quit. Should just all quit, abandon the city, and let it fall to pieces, and let these left-wing lunatics stew in their own mess. And then when they beg for help, you tell them, okay, now you got to run your city the proper way. In Texas, beer virus cases plummet 1 month after mask mandate lifted. It's because the masks really aren't doing anything, apparently. Apparently they're not doing anything. How else do you explain these stats? It could be that they changed the parameters of the testing, and it just so happens to coincide with that, but headlines: WND, Breitbart, and Fox. Let's see. Fed's 2018 data: 126 times more people killed by falling than with rifles. From Breitbart, good stat to know. George Soros Group offers $20 million to underwrite Joe Biden plan. What does that mean? $20 million ain't going to be enough, Soros. Pony up a couple of billion and then maybe we'll talk. But I guess we'll take your money. I mean, if Biden can't be stopped, I mean, at least throw us the $20 million. U.S. Capitol attacker may have suffered head trauma from playing football, family says. Seems like they're going an awful long way to explain the Capitol incident with the Nation of Islam member, as opposed to, the other incident that happened in the Capitol. Oh, those people are all perfectly sane. Well, this guy, he was sick. He was sick. You can't have it both ways. You can't say that people who do crazy things are not crazy when it's politically expedient for you to flush away their lives and put them in prison, and then turn around and say, oh, wait, mental illness. We have a mental illness problem in this country. Address it or shut the F up. This was a weird story. Remember Senator Warnock, one of the senators that got elected in Georgia? He sent a weird message on Twitter, which he deleted, says, the holiday is more transcendent than the resurrection of Jesus Christ, which apparently offended an S-ton of Christians. Not that I blame him. It's like, why would you tweet that? Are you that? It seems like people on the left are really trying to press the gas on the whole Marxist thing. They're trying to destroy religion. They're trying to destroy everything. And they're really poor at their jobs. Thank God. Thank God they're so poor at it. I mean, even I'm not a religious person, but my God, people, leave the religious people alone. Let the Christians have their churches and whatnot. I mean, if you're going to let other religions have their thing, Christians have to have it too. It's called freedom of religion. Look it up. California high-speed rail fans hope Biden infrastructure plan saves the bullet train. Sounds like a boondoggle, but whatever. Do you know many Californians that take the train? I don't. Taking the train, no one takes the subway, I know, in Los Angeles, so, it is a California thing to drive your car everywhere. So good luck with trying to push the train on them. I don't care how woke you make California. They're not going to ride the train. Biden pressed to undo hypocrisy on 2 tax loopholes. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Oh, this is a funny story. Portland school fears Evergreen's mascot could have ties to lynching. An Oregon school has delayed a vote that would confirm their new Evergreen's mascot over fears the tree could have ties to lynching. This is how woke these people have gotten in Oregon. They can't even make a decision on a mascot anymore. Oh God, that could be racist too. Why don't you just have the Oregon Airs? You could just make your mascot the Air. Could Air be racist? Oh, I'm sure you could come up with a reason because you woke cards call everything racist. I mean, the other day, highways are apparently racist, so they're tearing down some of that in the infrastructure plan because everything's backwards in the C world we live in. Infrastructure means tearing down highways. Arizona coach not apologizing for 2 middle fingers, dropping F-bombs after upset victory at UConn. Good. Never apologize. It's pointless at this point anyway. Never explain, never apologize. That's the setting. MLB requires photo ID to pick up tickets from will call, but boycotts Georgia over voter ID law. Hypocrisy. Doesn't surprise me at all. This is why the MLB is in huge trouble. You go woke, you get broke. Get woke, go broke. That's the saying. Sorry. The MLB wasn't exactly in great shakes to begin with. You could have come out as the American pastime and, we're not going to do all this woke nonsense. You would have gotten all the NBA fans and all the football fans. It would have been great. Yeah, one sport. We don't have to deal with this BS. Nope. So far, it's, I think, hockey. I think hockey hasn't gone woke because it's just such a, manly sport. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, the year is young. Apparently there was some, I didn't see it, but there was some 60 Minutes piece on DeSantis, and they said that, DeSantis worked with Publix, like a grocery store down there, and Publix came out and blasted 60 Minutes, calling the DeSantis narrative as absolutely false and offensive. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird that they would make something. It sounds like they made something up. And 60 Minutes. That used to be the place. The place. That was the Project Veritas of the '70s. Now it's just, to me, it's just a shadow of its former self. Oh, this is sad. 15-year-old shot while taking out the trash in Chicago. That's just wrong. So wrong. But a bit of good news. Census Bureau, significant increase in homeschooling to 11.1% in fall 2020. Good. Good. You're better off teaching your own kids at this point. Critical race theory is coming to a school near you, unfortunately. And finally, at the Daily Mail and Zero Hedge. Let's see what's going on. There was some kind of lockdown breaching festival in Brussels, and man, the cops came down like a ton of bricks. Things are starting to get nasty out there. A cop on horseback ran over a topless woman, essentially knocked her down. I saw a woman get hit by a car. I saw other people get beaten by batons. It was nasty. It was very nasty. U.S. believes China is flirting with Taiwan takeover. It's closer than most think. Yeah, I feel that way too. I feel like, and there was a rumor last night, and I don't know if it's been confirmed, that the Chinese were in Myanmar. I don't know if that was true. It seemed like it was too big of a story to be just one outlet reporting it, so I'm still waiting to see anybody else report it, but it wouldn't surprise me if China, tested the waters and just took over Taiwan. What are we going to do? What is Biden going to do? He's effed. He's effed. He took 2 stacks from them. What is he going to do? China could wreck him. Wreck him in more ways than one. Okay? I don't think it's going to happen, though, because if Biden is in their wheelhouse, there's no reason that, they'll get Taiwan when they get around to it. They waited this long. They could wait another decade if they think this is going to work. In other words, if they think Biden will put the final nail in the American coffin. Personally, I think this is maybe the low point, or within the next couple of months we'll hit the low point, and everything after that's going to be an upswing. And 2022, fingers crossed, the Republicans take back Congress. Just take it back. Take it back and steamroll these a-holes. That's what I want to see. I want to see the Democrats suffer the next time the Republicans get in. I want to see them investigated. I want to see people thrown out of Congress. I want to see Eric Swalwell gone. Absolutely. I hope he's running for re-election. Get rid of him. I just want to see the Republicans steamroll the Democrats and not even care. Not even care what they say. Just ruin their day every day when they get in. But we'll see. We shall see. That's it for the news as far as I can find it. We'll see you tomorrow. Me and Little Joan. Don't forget to check out the Bitchute exclusive. And of course, check out my books. See you tomorrow.